Right now, at this very moment, something could be silently stealing your health from the inside out, and you wouldn't feel a single thing. Imagine waking up, enjoying your morning coffee, feeling completely normal, while your delicate blood vessels are quietly being damaged by a hidden spike in blood sugar. For millions of Americans over the age of 60, this is not a hypothetical scenario, but a daily reality. We are conditioned to believe that if we aren't experiencing extreme thirst, frequent trips to the bathroom, or sudden weight loss, our health is perfectly fine. But that belief is a dangerous trap because it is famously known as a ghost condition, showing absolutely no outward warning signs while your internal organs are already paying a heavy price. Most seniors never realize this until it's too late, spending years of their retirement completely unaware that their cardiovascular system is running on a dangerous fuel that slowly erodes their vitality. It is incredibly frustrating to think that you can do everything right, eat your vegetables, go for your daily walks, and get your annual checkups, and still have a hidden storm brewing inside your body. You might occasionally notice that you feel a little more sluggish after lunch than you used to, or perhaps your vision gets just a bit blurry when you are tired. But you quickly dismiss it as a natural consequence of collecting these. We are repeatedly told to just accept the slow fade and blame our birth certificates for every minor dip in our physical energy. But the shocking truth about is that it actively attacks your body long before it ever crosses the threshold into illness. Staying with me through this vital explanation will help you understand that this silent phase is not a passive waiting room, but an active, invisible breakdown of your cellular health. In a moment, I'll explain exactly why this matters so deeply and how a completely overlooked aspect of your daily habits can suddenly turn the tide. If you are tired of being kept in the dark about your health and are ready to reclaim the vibrant wellness you rightfully deserve, please take a quick second right now to subscribe to the channel and give this video a thumbs up. Here at Dr. Silas Redford Wellness, we are profoundly dedicated to uncovering the hidden physiological truths about aging with strength, safety, and an abundance of natural energy. And joining our community today ensures you will never have to navigate these complex health mysteries alone. Consider the story of a remarkably active gentleman named Arthur, a retired schoolteacher from Pennsylvania who prided himself on his woodworking hobbies and spending weekends tending to his backyard orchard. Arthur felt absolutely fantastic, boasting to his friends that he hadn't needed to see a specialist in over a decade. His standard fasting blood work always came back in what his doctor called the range, a phrase that sounded reassuring enough to forget about. But what Arthur didn't know was that his body was working 3 times harder behind the scenes just to maintain that illusion of normalcy. One evening, while working on a small cabinet, he scraped his shin against a piece of lumber. It was a minor scratch, the kind that should have healed in a matter of days. Instead, weeks passed, and the small wound remained angry, red, and completely open. It was a devastating call for Arthur, who left the clinic terrified, only then discovering that his tissues had been quietly starving for oxygenated blood due to years of undetected. What doctors rarely explain is that long before a formal diagnosis is ever written on a medical chart, a subtle but destructive structural shift is occurring within your microscopic blood vessels. We are trained to look out for giant, sudden health crises, but the most irreversible damage happens in the quiet, invisible corners of our daily physiology. When your cells begin to develop a stubborn resistance to insulin, the vital hormone responsible for knocking on the cellular door to let energy inside. Because the doors remain locked, excess sugar is forced to circulate aimlessly through your bloodstream. Think of this extra sugar not as a harmless fuel, but as tiny, sharp shards of glass scraping against the delicate, silky inner lining of your arteries. Every single hour that your blood sugar remains even slightly elevated, these microscopic shards cause tiny scars across your vascular network. But what happened next shocked researchers who began conducting specialized cardiovascular studies on older adults with borderline blood sugar levels. They discovered that individuals in the range already showed a staggering 50% higher risk of experiencing a major cardiac event compared to those with truly optimal numbers. This means the vascular price is being paid right now, even if your daily routine feels completely unchanged. And the worst part is, the traditional approach of simply waiting for your numbers to get bad enough to justify prescription medication allows this silent erosion to continue completely unchecked for years. Your heart, your kidneys, and your brain are forced to work and in a state of constant friction, draining your metabolic reserves without your permission. Imagine trying to run a beautifully engineered, home heating system with water that is thick, sticky, and full of heavy minerals. Over time, the pipes don't instantly burst, instead, they slowly rust, calcify, and lose their efficiency until the entire system shudders and groans under the strain. That is the exact molecular scenario occurring within your physical system when borderline high blood sugar is left to simmer. You might find yourself occasionally forgetting a familiar name, struggling to stay sharp during your evening reading, or experiencing a strange, fleeting numbness in the tips of your toes. These aren't just random signs of getting older, they are your body's brilliant, desperate attempt to flash a distress signal from the depths of your nervous system. The mainstream medical establishment frequently relies on a metric known as the AHC test, which provides an average look at your blood sugar over a period. While this test is an incredibly valuable tool, the rigid boundary lines used to define health can create a false sense of security. If the official threshold for type 2 diabetes is a score of 6.5, and your score comes back at 6.1, you are technically labeled as. Too often, providers will tell you to just watch what you eat and check back in a year. This is a dangerous, widespread gap in care that leaves millions of older adults trapped in a state of progressive biological aging. The real, hidden danger of this approach is that a score of 6.1 is already actively damaging the delicate filtering units of your kidneys and the sensitive nerves in your lower limbs. When this sugar friction takes hold of your nervous system, it acts like a quiet thief cutting the insulation of the electrical wiring of your house. In medical terms, this leads to neuropathy, which simply means the gradual degradation of the nerves furthest from your heart. Because your feet and toes rely on the most microscopic blood vessels for sustenance, they are always the very first to suffer when the blood becomes thick and sticky. You don't wake up one morning with severe nerve damage, instead, it begins as a faint, occasional tingling that you mistake for your shoes being too tight, or a cold sensation that won't go away even under a heavy blanket. Without a precise, intentional intervention, these tiny fires slowly spread, permanently numbing the very sensors you rely on for balance and safe mobility. Fortunately, turning this draining situation around and protecting your vital organs does not require restrictive, joyless lifestyles that steal the pleasure out of your retirement years. The human body possesses an absolutely incredible, almost miraculous capacity to repair its cellular pathways at 60, 70, and far beyond, provided it is given the correct biological signals. By making a few highly intentional, gentle adjustments to how you structure your days, you can immediately begin to clear out the vascular friction, increase your insulin sensitivity, and allow your natural vitality to flood back into your system. Reclaiming your health is entirely within your reach, and it starts with breaking the myths about what your body truly needs during this golden chapter of life. One of the most widespread myths is that you must completely eliminate every single carbohydrate from your plate to save your blood sugar. This extreme restriction often backfires, leaving you fatigued, irritable, and nutritionally depleted. The real secret lies in a concept known as food sequencing, which is a sophisticated but incredibly simple way of eating your meals. Researchers have found that if you simply change the order in which you eat the food already on your plate, you can dramatically flatten your sugar spike. Always begin your meal by eating your fiber first, such as a crisp green salad or roasted vegetables. Follow that with your proteins and healthy fats, and save any starches or carbohydrates for the very end of the meal. This simple sequence creates a protective, gel matrix in your digestive tract, preventing sugar from rushing into your bloodstream all at once. Think about how beautiful and liberating it will feel to enjoy your favorite meals with your family without the constant and underlying anxiety of a hidden health crisis. Picture yourself walking through your neighborhood with a steady, confident stride, knowing your nerves are perfectly protected, your blood vessels are smooth, and your heart is pumping cleanly. This high level of physical freedom is not a distant dream, it is a very real possibility that begins with the very next meal you choose to eat. By pairing smart food sequencing with a gentle stroll immediately after you finish eating, you enlist your large leg muscles to vacuum up excess glucose directly from your blood, completely bypassing the need for extra insulin. I strongly encourage you to share your own experiences with blood sugar screenings and energy levels in the comments down below, as your personal story might be the exact spark of hope or validation that another member of our global community needs to read today. If you found a sense of clarity and genuine direction in these words, please take a brief moment to share this video with a friend or a loved one who might be quietly wondering why their stamina isn't what it used to be. Remember with all your heart that your body is remarkably resilient, and you possess the absolute, undeniable power to make these chapters of your life the most vibrant, peaceful, and energetic ones yet.